Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the daily cricket show here in the cricket happening show today. And as far as today's cricket show is concerned, well, the India versus England, the second test match is absolutely well poised. Yes, India are definitely looking the favourites, but 318 runs is what England require today to actually win this test match. So India has given them a target of 405 runs to actually win the match, and 87 runs has been wiped out by England. So it essentially means that 318 runs more required with 8 wickets in hand. India actually, Virat Kohli was only the one batsman who looked very good on a very, very difficult wicket, one could say, as he scored 81. As I thought the England bowlers did a good job, as India were all out for 204, thus setting the Englishmen a target of 405 for victory. And one saw that definitely, if you look at things, Alistair Cook and Hasib Hamid, they made sure that they were not going to give their wickets away so quickly, and it looks like England did not accept the challenge of scoring 405, and that was rightly so, because this is a very, very difficult wicket to bat on. And what they decided was they decided to play out time. If you look at it, 75 runs partnership, it was an opening partnership between Cook and Hamid, which occupied 50 overs. So that would give you a sense of what England were really doing. But well, today it will be interesting to see their approach, but I'm sure it is going to be the same approach because it's going to be the final day. It's going to be more wear and tear, and one could really see the pitch really crumble a lot today, and that should be very, very interesting. So that is one match that I'll be looking at. And New Zealand, very rightly, and I would say the inevitable happened, where New Zealand were given a target of 105 runs, which they cleared it with ease, as they won by 8 wickets, with G. Travel once again showing in his second innings with a very door knock that he played, showing that he is one for the future for New Zealand. So New Zealand winning the first test and going 1-0 in the series. And this, as you know, as far as the New Zealand versus Pakistan are concerned, this is a 2-match series. So New Zealand have already taken the lead. So one thing is pretty sure, that New Zealand won't lose the series, and Pakistan will have one more dig at the Kiwis to go and actually draw this series. So I will come back to that. So first, definitely, I'll be starting off with the New Zealand versus Pakistan match, and Pakistan resuming at their overnight score with Sohail Khan and Asad Shafiq. And Sohail Khan started off in right earnest, one could say, on the 4th day by beautifully flicking the first delivery, which was a loosener, to the boundary. And Sohail Khan continued to play his strokes, which he did on the previous day. His contribution was 40 of 39 deliveries with 5 fours and 1 6, and he was the first wicket to go, as he tried one too many, one could say, and he was caught in the deep by Granholm on the bowling of Saudis. That was the first wicket to go. After that, Asad Shafiq was the next one to go when Neil Wagner got him caught. What a catch from G. Travel. Now, G. Travel not only has shown his batting exploits, but he has also showed that he's an absolute live wire in the field. The other day we saw he picked up a very good catch in the point region, or in the slip region, I reckon. And then today he picked up another blinder, one could say. He leaped at it and plucked it in thin air. So G. Travel is also showing that he's a wonderful fielder, as Asad Shafiq was on his way to the pavilion of Wagner for 17 with 2 boundaries. And finally, the Pakistani innings ground to a close at 171. Yasir Shah was not out on 6, and Rahat Ali was the last man to go out to Saudi for 2. And with Pakistan being 171 all out, the New Zealand were set a target of 105 runs to actually win the match. Now, I'm not going to go into any of the detailed bowling. The wickets were shared. Trent bowled Saudi and Neil Wagner sharing 3 wickets apiece. And I would definitely say the pick of the bowlers was Neil Wagner, even though I thought Bolt and Saudi bowled well, but I would definitely say Neil Wagner was the pick of the bowlers, 3 for 34. As far as New Zealand were concerned, they were given a target of 105 runs, and the start was not very good. Tom Latham was the first to be consumed. Mohammad Amir getting him caught by Asad Shafiq for 9. So that was the first wicket to go with 1 boundary. And G. Travel was one who really dug himself in. And that's what he precisely did in the first innings as well. He was the highest scorer, as you remember, with 55, as he was joined by the New Zealand captain, Kane Williamson. Kane Williamson was looking in some fine nick with his driving, with his cut shots, with his handling of the spin. When Yasir Shah was bowling, one was really seeing as to why Williamson is called, as far as, he's called the king of spin bowling, in the sense, a king player of spin bowling, one could say, the way he actually used to play strokes, the drives, the cut shots that he used to play. And this partnership went on with G. Travel chiseling together an innings, and also G. Travel showing that what a wonderful opener that New Zealand has unearthed for himself, because I said he's a good fielder and he has already shown that he has a good match temperament, and on his debut he has done a wonderful job, as he gave admirable company to Williamson, and both took the score towards the 100 mark, almost took them to victory. Well, in fact, with 1 run required, there was, Williamson was not able to get the ball off the square, and when he attempted one, Azhar Ali was the part-time bowler bowling, and Sami Aslam picking up the catch at backward short leg. So he was gone for 61 with 4 fours and 1 6, and then finally the formalities were completed by G. Travel, who hit unveiled a pull shot to the fence to bring an end to this test match, as G. Travel finished not out on 36 with 4 boundaries. Henry Nicholls was not out on naught, and the match was all over. The first test match of the series going to New Zealand winning the match by 8 wickets. Congratulations to them. As far as the bowling was concerned, Mohammad Amir, 7 overs, 2 men, 1 for 12. I thought he bowled very well. Sohail Khan, 6 overs, 1 maiden, none for 21. Rahat Ali, 6 overs for 24. But Yasir Shah, he has taken, I think he has taken 116 wickets altogether. And this is the first ever test match where Yasir Shah is going wicketless. He didn't grab any wickets in the first innings, and in the second innings too, he has not grabbed any wickets. And that has come as a surprise, I would say, as probably New Zealand has found out a way to tackle his leg spin bowling. Probably they have looked at the videos of Yasir Shah, and they have seen to it that they could tackle him well, and that's what they precisely did. And Yasir Shah says that this is the first ever test match where Yasir Shah has remained wicketless. So 9.3 overs, 1 maiden, 145. Azhar Ali 3 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 6. And the man of the match, very rightly going to Colin D. Granholm, who was the one who was instrumental in winning the test match, because the reason being that he was the one who helped bowl the Pakistanis for 133 in the first innings, and after that the Pakistanis really struggled. And Granholm is another one who has shown that he is a very good bowler. He belongs to the high category. So that is as far as this particular test match is concerned. Now the attention will be going on to the second test match. But now let's get on from here and go to India, where we are talking about the 4 days play in the second test match between India and England. India resuming at their overnight score with Virat Kohli and Rahane at the crease at 98 for 3. And England got a very quick breakthrough in the morning, and Stuart Broad was splendid yesterday. He definitely changed his bowling tack, one could say. And what he did is he decided to rely on some cutters. And there was one of those cutters where he actually got the ball to Rahane to actually bounce, and he was caught by Cook of the bowling. Cook caught him off the bowling of Broad for 26 for 2 fours. That was the first wicket, and after that it was at the other end we saw Adil Rashid, the leg spinner, coming in. A very quick spin was introduced. Anderson was removed out of the attack by Cook, and he brought in Adil Rashid, and I thought that was a very good move. Ridhiman Shah was there with Virat Kohli, and Virat Kohli, as I said, he played one stroke which was so superb. I mean, just look at the skill that Virat Kohli possesses on a very, very difficult track. Even though if it is a shooter, he could actually maneuver a stroke out of it. So that really shows the greatness of this player, Virat Kohli. We all know he's a great player, but really shows how, just extreme greatness there as far as Virat goes. Virat Kohli is the only batsman who has absolutely looked at ease on a very difficult pitch here in Visakhapatnam. And Virat Kohli was given company by Ashwin, and Ashwin, he stood there for 7 runs, and after that it was the next wicket to go was Ridhiman Saha. In fact, Ashwin was the next to go. In fact, it was Broad who picked up his wicket. Broad once again forcing Ashwin to play at the delivery. He pushed at it away from the body, and Jonathan Barrister behind the stumps did the rest. He was gone for 7 with 1 boundary, and after that Adil Rashid had Ridhiman Shah LBW for 2, and after that we saw Virat Kohli, after playing a nice knock of 81 with 8 boundaries, was brilliantly caught. That was a brilliant catch by Ben Stokes, one thought, and it really required some brilliance to see the back of Kohli, and that came from Ben Stokes of the bowling of Rashid, and Virat Kohli was gone out for 81 with 8 boundaries. After that we saw Jadeja being a victim of the bowling of Rashid for 14 with 1-6, and Umesh Yadav was also consumed by Rashid, caught behind the wicket for naught, and the score read, at that time the score read 162 for 9, and one thought that the Indian innings was really going to end, but it was a very good partnership. For the 10th wicket, it was some useful runs which was being added, and it was done by Jayant Yadav, the debutant, once again showing that he's a really a very useful bat lower down the order. And Mohammad Shami was the one who biffed 2 sixes and 1 4 in his knock of 19, and both put on some valuable runs, one thought. 42 runs on this wicket, which enabled India. India were all out for 204, as Mohammad Shami, he was definitely trying to hit the bowlers, and in trying one of those, once more trying to give a real tonk to Moeen Ali, actually missed the ball, and Jonathan Barrister behind the stumps stumped him. He was gone for 19 with 1 4 and 2 sixes. It left Jayant Yadav not out on 27 with 4 fours. India all out for 204, thus setting the Englishmen a target of 405 runs for victory. The bowling, well, it was the spoils were shared by Stuart Broad, 14 overs 5 minutes, 33 runs and 4 wickets, and Adil Rashid, the right arm leggy, 24 overs 3 minutes, 82 runs and 4 wickets, and 1 wicket apiece to James Anderson and Moeen Ali. So England set about their target of 405 runs, and one knew that this was a target which was definitely going to be very tough to do, especially on this pitch. It would have been very difficult, and so England rightly decided that they are going to put a price on their wicket, and they are going to stick to the crease, and that's what they precisely did. It was done by the openers, English captain Alistair Cook along with Hasib Hamid, and they were not really bothered about the run scoring. There were a lot of maidens bowled by the Indian bowlers, as Alistair Cook and Hasib Hamid were absolutely they were in with a mission, and the mission was to grind the Indian bowling, and they were not bothered about the scores. That will really, as I said, they consumed 50 overs to add 75 runs for the first wicket. That really will tell you what was the snail's pace. This was absolutely something similar to what the Pakistani openers did in the second innings against New Zealand in the lost test match, where Sami Aslam, who scored 7 runs, and Azhar Ali, who contributed 30 odd runs, how they played. And this was a similar situation here, and Alistair Cook and Hasib Hamid grinded the Indian bowling to really add a good partnership, 75 runs, but it consumed 50 overs. So I'm sure the crowd over there at Vishakhapatnam would have definitely got bored, but England were definitely out with a mission there, and they knew this pitch is not one where you could actually go and chase a target, and they decided rightly. But definitely credit to them to keeping the Indian bowlers at bay on a very difficult pitch. And then finally, when things were going well and one thought that probably Alistair Cook and Hasib Hamid will survive the day and take the team to stumps, we saw Virat Kohli doing some change of tactics. He decided to have a talk with his bowlers and told Jadeja and Ashwin to bowl on the rough, and that's what yielded the wicket. The first wicket to go was Asif Hamid. After consuming 144 balls to score 25 runs with 3 boundaries, Ashwin got a ball to actually turn in, and Hasib Hamid was turning out of the rough, and Hasib Hamid was trapped LBW for 25. And then just at the stroke of stumps, we saw Alistair Cook wicket being claimed by Ravindra Jadeja, as he also got the ball to hit the rough, and Alistair Cook was gone LBW for 54 with 4 boundaries after playing 188 deliveries. And then finally England closed the day at 87 for 2 with Joe Root not out on 5, and as I said, 318 runs more to get. One knows that this approach, one definitely feels that England won't really try to make 318 runs, because looking at the approach, one definitely feels that England don't want to challenge this target. Well, Ben Duckett is the next one who is slotted in. He would be joining Joe Root, who is not out on 5. And the bowling, well, 1 wicket apiece to Ashwin and Jadeja. Other than that, I'm not going to go into that, since I have to cover something important. And when I say something important, we are talking about the Australian squad that has been selected for the final test match. And in 1984, mass changes have been made by Australia, and one has to say that the last time that Australia probably made 6 changes in a test squad was way back in the 1984, when the West Indian pace battering ram really had the Australians on the ropes, and Kim Hughes, the former graceful stroke maker, Kim Hughes was the captain at the time, and one really remembers his tearful press conference after the match was over, where in the mid series he actually resigned by giving an interview. I mean, he did a post. There was a press conference where he announced that he was in tears when he actually resigned from the captaincy of the Australian cricket team. And so that was something which happened, where it really made the Australians have 6 changes in the team. And now what we are seeing here, this is a similar scene after South Africa have really hurt the Australians. They have made 6 changes. Joe Burns, Adam Wojcicki is out with a concussion, Callum Ferguson, Peter Neville the wicketkeeper, and Joe Many are the ones who are the victims, who are out of the second day-night test match, which is going to be played with the pink ball. And the players who are coming in is all those rookies who have been playing the Australian domestic scene, have been doing well. Matt Renshaw, I'm told, is a very good occupier of the crease. So Matt Renshaw is one. The second one is Peter Hanscom, who has been scoring some handsome centuries in the Australian Sheffield Shield this season. So Peter Hanscom and Nick Maddinson. We all know Nick Maddinson. He has definitely played one-day internationals. He's a very aggressive bloke. But I mean, Australia have really plumped for Nick Maddinson because probably he's one who could probably put some psychological pressure on the South African bowlers with his attacking style of play. Chad Sayers is also bats. Chad Sayers is a very good wicket-to-wicket bowler, so he comes in. He has been doing very well in the domestic circuit as well. Jackson Bird is the other one, and Matthew Wade is the one who would be taking the gloves from Peter Neville. Now, as far as Matthew Wade coming in, I thought Peter Neville, probably one feels a bit harsh on him, but probably one feels that Matthew Wade is a better wicketkeeper than Peter Neville. One has to wait and watch. Well, with that being said, it's about time for me to sign out on this cricket show. There'll be more coming with a very interesting day's play coming up in the final day of the second test match, which will decide. Till such time that happens, this is your host Ram bidding goodbye.